Let's get to your letters. Dear senior guru, Lord of all gurus, only yielding to the true Almighty God.
Wow,
Do I yield?
You should.
I am a high school student and I have a brain disorder. Way to be a downer right off the bat.
No kidding.
The disorder causes me to be bothered by repetitive sounds. Things like chewing gum, breathing heavily, tapping a pencil, etc. just really set me off. Well, see, when you say really set me off, the etc. is kind of important.
Yeah.
Like, I want to know.
What are the actions following
Is
that?
someone going to turn the microwave on and the family turns up dead on the news the next day? I don't like, this is not an etc., etc.
Yeah.
Extrapolate.
And other things.
And things of that nature, and so on and whatnot. I know it sounds like I'm making this up, but bear with me. I first noticed it when I found other people eating with their mouths open annoying. Well, we all do.
Yeah.
That's how this whole pandemic got started.
Well, and food falls out.
Seems logical enough. However, this progressed into being such a problem that my brain turns to anger when these things occur. It has really affected my relationships with my parents, as to the point where it is almost impossible to have a quiet sit-down meal with my family. I want to know what you would have to say about this. Keep up the shows. They're awesome. Fellow Mug Clubber, JCR. I don't know what that stands for. I don't have a whole lot to say about this if you haven't been diagnosed and haven't sought out professional counseling. Like, I know, I find it annoying when people eat with their mouth open or chew gum with their mouth open. Yeah. But I don't fear my own capabilities at that point as to what I could carry out.
Your etc. is limited.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas this one may not be.
My etc., like, what do I do when someone's chewing with their mouth open? My etc. is like, stop.
Cut it out.
Yours might involve a trip to the shed, machete, sharpening tools,
storing human heads in your freezer. I don't know.
I mean, you've got a couple of good options here, which is doing the whole counting method, right?
Right.
Someone's it's the normal anger management techniques.
Yeah.
There's also the just leave the room and punch a wall and not punch a wall with someone in between you and the fist.
the wall.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's a good idea. Or if you have the reach, like Gerald, make sure there's nobody on the other side of the wall.
That's true. Right.
Because one time he just hit a contractor.
I mean, he's just right.
It
happened. We settled the lawsuit.
But you know what? I will say, speaking of anger management, when I was early in my marriage, I've always struggled with anger issues. And sometimes, I've talked about this as a man, sometimes you get mad for your wife, but it seems like you're getting mad at your wife. You know, we've talked about this. I had a woman who was sort of a coworker who was borderline abusive, and you get mad, and then you realize there's not really much you can do because you can't go into your wife's place of work. Same thing, I'm sure, if you have kids. But one thing I will say that has really helped me with in counseling, I tried to do this for a while. People talked about transcendental meditation. I still don't know what that means. I know guided meditation is so lazy. I had this
Go to a
app,
different plane,
Simple Habit, and this lady was talking about going to sleep. She was supposed to be guiding me through meditation. She goes, and you find yourself at a stairwell. I swear to you, I don't know if it's still on there. You find yourself at a stairwell, and all the sounds, increased alpha waves. The stairwell could be made of wood or another material. Well, what material is it? You're my guide.
Yes, exactly.
It's made out of pizza slices.
You are my guide.
Hard to walk up,
I think meditation is made to seem a little more complicated than it is. You know, this is sort of in creating a barrier to entry, like we've kind of talked about sometimes with the CDC, where people feel as though they can't get the right information, or everything that they say is wrong. Like, can you use Everclear to sanitize something? Well, yeah, you have to go through all the documents. They say, yeah, but it's more expensive than hand sanitizer. Well, I didn't ask you a budgetary question. There is no hand sanitizer. Can Everclear work? It can.
Yes.
Same thing with meditation, where people try to make it sound more complicated than it really is. Really, meditation is clearing your mind, or you can choose to use that time to focus on something specific. And breathing is important. So I will say this is an exercise that has definitely helped me, is breathe in, 4 count. So breathe in, fill your belly, fill your chest, and breathe out with a 7 count. So you breathe in and breathe out. And so you kind of have to create a little bit of pressure. Some people say go, some people say go, some people say go. But the point is, you want that to go out slower than it goes in, because your pulse lowers when exhaling.
What if you go
contrary to when inhaling? So simple breathing and doing that 10 times, counting, it has helped me a lot when I get a little overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Quiet place, breathe, and then if you go back and the sounds still bother you, you should probably avoid the wet food market. And is it wet food? What is it? Wet blood? What's the live food markets there? Well, they see the live animals. Anyway, okay, let's go on.
I didn't
The whole reason for the coronavirus, the live animal market,
gotcha.
wet blood,
I don't know what they call them.
Okay.
China.
I don't know
somewhere.
where you pulling this from.
China.
All right. Okay.
Okay. All right. So, dear Guru Crowder,
Hope that helps.
my girlfriend and I,
And I hope I don't do ASMR,
son of a bitch. Sorry, did I say that?
Oh, no.
Apologize.
etc., etc.
I hope
Sound
he's
like-
in a safe place.
Gosh, sound like my dog in the middle of the night. I'm like, we're really right now? You got to be doing that.
Well, yeah, he does.
No. he
Just to
doesn't.
bother you.
That's awesome.
Keep it up, Clarence.
All right, Clarence. All right, dear Guru Crowder, my girlfriend and I have been going through our political views recently, which has led to some turmoil. I'm a Christian, and my political views tend to follow my religious beliefs. My girlfriend was raised a Christian, but does not believe because she was forced into Christendom by her parents. Since her falling away from the faith, she has put her political views into two main categories: women's rights, mostly abortions, and environmental concerns.
Don't like her.
Right? She is more central on most topics, but would rather have abortions legal even after birth than illegal altogether.
That's murder.
Whoa.
Yeah, straight up.
That's crazy. I am searching for guidance in this trying time, dear Guru, especially since we have talked about marriage in recent months. What should I do with someone I love, but is also against most things I stand for?
Well, obviously, Gerald, you should answer this, but first, don't marry the axe murderer.
Yes. Especially when
Keep
she
that in-
broadcasts, I'm an axe murderer
Yeah.
before the marriage.
Right.
So
She's leading with murder.
Yes, yes. She should have saved that one for last. So, I get it. Honestly, what my answer to this, for anybody who is serious about this, if you have such an opposing view on something like abortion, on environmental issues, you can say, oh, well, I think the environment, they're overblowing it, but we should take care of the environment. And somebody else is like, yeah, I think the environment needs to be taken care of too, but I think we need to be much more involved. And you can still kind of reconcile those two things pretty easy.
Half Asian Bill breathes like a pug.
Does he really?
I'm
Are you
hearing
hearing-
him. Don't do the breathing. Don't do the breathing exercises into the microphone.
Bill, the repetitive guy that we just talked about said breathing. Stop. He just killed somebody.
He doesn't care about him.
I'm going to stop breathing.
That's true. Okay, well, I don't know about that. Not all together now, Bill.
All right.
You can reconcile, I think, environmental differences a little bit easier when it comes down to abortion, even
Right.
after birth, to make sure like that. I feel
I
like
wouldn't say even after birth.
That's
I
what
would
she
say
said.
Particularly after
yeah.
birth.
So I mean, when somebody
Specifically.
says that,
You're acting conciliatory, like even as though it's early, like even the morning after, even
well,
plenty.
that's not the tone I was
even
going
after
for.
birth. Okay.
Yeah, I was going for like, are you serious? Even after birth?
Right.
That's what I was trying to say.
Oh, okay.
I don't think there's a really good way of reconciling the opinions that you have to hold for that to be okay. Right, that there's got to be some underlying things there that you guys are just not going to line up on, and it's going to be a great source of conflict.
Every time we have to answer one of these
life.
questions, and I appreciate it, lifeadvice@louderwithcrowder.com, we've answered this many times. Like, you cannot, someone will they'll trot out some individual story like James Carville, and I always forget the name of his wife. We're like, oh, a Democrat and a Republican. As a general rule, it is close to impossible to have a long-term successful marriage and raise a family when you are on complete opposite ends of the political spectrum. Because usually that's representative of your values, particularly as it relates to fundamental issues like life. For example, you may both be Christians, or you may both be atheists, or you may differ on fiscal policy. One of you may think that a marginal tax rate of 52% is fine. One of you may think it's 48%. One of you may think we should increase. That's different from the fundamental worldview as to whether life is valuable or not.
Right.
And in both of these instances, by the way, I don't want to get into this so much right now because it's a life advice show, but abortion and sort of the neo-environmentalist movement, they're both anti-people. And they're both inextricably tied when you look at the idea of population control. You look at eugenics. This is something that the left believes. AOC goes on a live stream and says, people feel anxiety should they have children because it's a moral dilemma in this climate change riddled world. Well, actually, it's not. It's not a moral dilemma. And if you are, maybe it may be for you, but it shouldn't be with the person who's going to be your spouse. It cannot be a moral dilemma for one and not the other. It can't work long term. And I don't understand how people are picking these relationships.
Yeah.
You have to have the same film tastes in common? You both like board games? We always try to find things in common that don't really matter. Yeah. What matters is how you view the world. What matters are your fundamental principles. And if they join up, particularly if you're talking about creating a family unit in the raising and rearing of children. This is not, you shouldn't even be considering marriage whatsoever.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so, and not until you get some resolution to this. If she just doesn't understand what she's saying and she's making an argument from an emotional point, like I'm a feminist,
right,
and doesn't really understand what she's saying, that's different than I know what I'm talking about. I've researched this. It should be legal even after birth. Yeah, that's crazy. That's just
crazy.
Just basic.
I don't even know how most people walk that back.
Yeah.
Northam walked it back. Like I didn't mean after birth. Well, you did, but you
right.
just the afterbirth, Eli. No. Yes. If I drink your life advice, I slip it up.
Watch Louder with Crowder live, Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern.